Help me ducks, it's Simon here. Welcome back to the Hermit's Cave. So, hope we're doing okay. It's Friday evening, finished work for the week, and got home to find this little tarot deck that has been kindly sent to me by Robin from Toadstool Tarot. So, hopefully you all know Robin anyway. He's been a member of our tarot community for over a year now. And yeah, very much a part of our chats and everything else. I will link his channel, of course, below. But a couple of months ago, he designed a majors only tarot deck called the Open Face Tarot. And he messaged me probably about 4 weeks ago to say that he'd popped one in the post for me. So it's for obviously for the purpose of review. So thank you, Robin. And Robin's very generous anyway. He's sent me other things in the past, things that he's seen on Amazon and just sent them direct to me, which is really sweet and kind. I have seen Robin's kind of premiere on this tarot deck. And again, I'll link all information below. And I can remember watching his first walkthrough when he announced that he'd got a deck. None of us knew what it was going to look like or anything before he decided to use make playing cards. And this is where you get the deck from. Again, link below to where you can buy the deck from. So what I've been sent here is the small version. They do come in lots of different options, as you'll see when you check out Make Playing Cards. So the small cards, which is this one, Robin says they're tarot tin size. So I think he's right, actually. I think they're around a little bit smaller than a tarot tin size, but this is a small deck. And they come in two options. So this one or plastic. Cardstock is S30, which is interesting, and because that's a nice thickness. And these retail, I believe, around in dollars, $7-8, somewhere in between $7 and $8. I'm aware, after speaking with Conrad actually, that in the last few days, Make Playing Cards have put their prices up. So the plastic will be twice that much. So if you buy it in a plastic size, that's around $14. But these are really nice cardstock. They do come in a tarot size as well. And I believe there's an option of like a purple velvet bag, and they retail around $21. They come in two options of either having labels or without labels as well. And Robin has sent me, I think these are the backs. Yeah, these are the backs. Robin has sent me a deck without labels, which I think is fine, because I know the tarot. I work with the tarot. But I would say with a deck like this, then getting one with titles would be quite a good idea if you're new to tarot and just learning tarot, because this version, I think it's a really cool concept, being stripped right back like this. But again, learning the tarot, you'll probably need titles to help you with that. There is also another option, which is what's called the two-faced tarot, or the two-faced option, which comes in a tarot size, and that's getting both decks together, which has labels and without labels. So instead of just getting your 23 cards, there's an extra card in this. I'll explain. You'd obviously get 46 cards, and that's having both sets together if you wanted one with labels and without labels. And I think that retails at around $23. There is a virtual guidebook for this deck, there's a link below. Robin actually made a video talking about the meanings of the cards, but there is also a PDF version too. and I'll see if I can link that, or if not, I'll ask Robin to pop it in the comments and I'll pin it to the top if there is a way to get access to the PDF document that is a guidebook for this. In fact, bear with. Okay, so I'm back. So I thought it would be easy just to, I'm best move the candles. Now I've got paper about. Yeah, just to, I printed it off just so you can have a look. So I think it's like 6 sides. So it's the open face tarot, and there's a bit of a discussion here from Robin, as you can see, and then it goes into each of the meanings of the cards. I think that's over 6 or 7 pages. So, and he says here, after being a fan and a follower of the tarot for many years and having countless times considered the idea of creating my own deck of cards, I continued to procrastinate while conceptualizing the perfect deck. Well, there's no such thing as a perfect deck. Much like the difficulties presented to an artist raising his brush to a blank canvas and boldly making the first stroke, I found myself humbled and stumbling up, unable to move forward. Finally, I took the fool's leap of faith and scribbling off the cliff into that abyss. And then he talks about how he created the images. So I took a solitary watercolour pencil and crudely doodled 22 drawings plus 1 in a single day. Yeah, so all of these cards, the major arcana, was created in a single day. I then went back to these simple drawings with a brush and some water to bleed them into life. By doing so, my lines were blurred, and also with the lines of creating a new tarot deck blurred. In this action, I found some personal clarity. I'm not going to read them all because I want people to obviously, download this and have a look for yourself. But I just wanted to give you some initial thoughts by Robin about the conceptualization of the deck. So you get this little card, the Open Face Tarot. It has the 2020 copyright on it. And yeah, I see what he means. I like the fact that the card isn't pure white. It's not glaring. It's kind of got this off-white color, like a sepia tone, and very simple illustrations. And I like that. It is called the Open Face Tarot, and this is on the back of each of the cards. So let's have a look through. Make sure that's nice and centered. Is it bright enough? Pop a little bit of light on so we get a good, there we go. So here we have our Fool starting out on his journey, and as I said, it's stripped back, it's crude, it's basic, but it's the essence of the archetype that is being expressed in each of the images. There might not be the dog, there might not be a white flower in his hand, but you get that sense of stepping into the unknown, stepping into that abyss, embarking on a new adventure, and whatever might come your way on doing so. Here we have the Magician. Everything we need, we get that sense of as above, so below. We've got the lemniscate here above the Magician, representing infinity. We've got each of the tools needed to manifest, to bring things into fruition. We've got our wand, our sword, our pentacle, and our cups, which of course representing the minors as well that would be there. And I think it's worth saying at this time as well, I'm not a huge fan, in all honesty, of majors only decks. I think I only have 2 in my collection, this being the third, which is an Oswald Worth deck, because I love Oswald Worth, and whilst there is one that has minors, I don't particularly like it. It's the US Games one, but I know Real at Lucky Star is thinking of creating the minors for that. And then I have a Dodal, which is hand painted and cut on art paper, which is beautiful, but I have the full version as well. So Robin, if you ever do add minors, then I'll be interested in completing this set. But in some parts of the world, particularly Europe, reading with majors only is nothing new. and there's a place for it. So here we have our High Priestess. We have the scroll. We have the crescent moon, the two pillars, which would normally see B and J. I love how the open faces are looking upwards as well. They're so far, you know, looking outwards, looking upwards. Here we have our Empress. And I do love this kind of watery effect as well. I'm glad it's not, as I said, stark white images with black ink. I like the aesthetic. And here we have this little bean, a little bean growing in the belly, representing the mother aspect of the Empress. And we have our Emperor. I love his cross leg here. It's almost like the hanged man position, isn't it? That sort of figure of number 4. He has his throne and he's got his scepter. The Hierophant I really love with the fingers. I love that we've got the Hierophant staff, the cross keys, the supplement. So yeah, and you know, I did say at the beginning, if you don't perhaps know tarot, the titles might be beneficial, but so far they're quite easy to identify, aren't they? Here we have our lovers. I like this because this, you know, it's very inclusive. We could have you know, a non-binary couple. We could have a male and female couple, 2 females, 2 males. And again, with having images like this, it's you know, it's very inclusive in terms of including people of colour, because we can project what we want to see into images like this, can't we? I love this around the angel with the wings and that pouring down the energy, the light. This was one card I wasn't sure of at first, but the more I see it, because when Robin first showed it, I saw a human figure. I saw this as legs, and I wasn't quite sure. It took me a while for my eyes to adjust as to what I was looking at. But now I don't see that. I see the Chariot. I really like the shape of the wheels. It kind of reminds me of something like Bedrock, you know, Flintstones. It's quite comical, but I like it. And here we are with somebody at a crossroads deciding which direction to go in their chariot. It looks like the decision is made to go that way. Cardstock is really nice. Whether it's because it's smaller cards, but it feels really sturdy. And I've been buying a lot of MPC decks at the moment. I've, you know, the 3 different CS tarots, a couple of decks like the WS Tarot 2.0, quite a few decks at the moment, and I'm really enjoying their cardstock, I have to say. And I've got various. I've got Superior Smooth, I've got the regular Smooth, I've got linen versions in it. Yeah, and you know, the study deck and things like that I've been buying. So been a really good customer of MPC this year, and I've never really bought from them until recently, but I like the quality of their decks. Love this strength card. Really love that. It's one of my favorites. It's an embrace. Again, we've got this looking upwards and outwards, but the expression on this creature, and whatever it is, whether it's a wolf, whether it's a lion, a monster, whatever, again, it's not really that important. It's just that beast that is being embraced, lovingly embraced. It's the connection between the two. I love the fact that the eyes are closed, you know. I love this shading here too. It's a really, really lovely card. Our Hermit, I like the Hermit. You've heard me say many times before, some of my favourite depictions of the Hermit, because I identify with that card and that archetype so much. Any that show, you know, like the light seers, and any that show a hermit sitting on the edge of a rock looking out, and we've got these, you know, rocky mountains, and you get that sense of peering over the edge with the lantern, which I love, the star inside. It's nighttime, we've got the moon visible, but it's a really lovely image of somebody sitting and just looking out across a vast valley, or even an ocean, or whatever's that rock is at the side of. But I think it's beautiful. Here we have our wheel. Yeah, and this, I don't know, for me, you've got somebody that's fallen off the wheel, and the wheel turns and fate deals its blows, whichever hand we're dealt. But this, having this image here, gives me the sense that, you know, perhaps we're not in control of our destiny, that somebody, a greater power, a greater being, is turning the wheel, which then controls our fate, our destiny. So it's a different slant to how I viewed the wheel, but it's interesting. It's interesting, and a lot of us put kind of a lot of thought into whether fate, and this could just be fate, you know, representation of fate turning the wheel, and we get what comes to us. I believe passionately in cause and effect, that for every action there's a reaction, that what we put out we get back. So this could even be our higher self, you know, that has caused that wheel of fate to meter out any sort of justice, or, you know, windfall, however we want to see it. Then we get our justice card, which is wonderful. We've got our balanced scales here. The Hanged Man. I think this is perfectly done. How, you know, it's very simple, but I just love the little diamonds here that give you that, you know, structure to the body. It's very clever, and I like the hangman's frame here as well. Yeah, I like to turn my hangmans around and have a look at them again. It's interesting that they're looking upwards and outwards, but looking at life from a different perspective, you know. Here's our death card. His head's kind of changed shape. He's more kind of alien looking in this depiction. But again, we've got the horse, which is drawn really well. The cross on the flag. The people that have been trodden under hoof or cut down. Here we have temperance. Very simple. Doesn't need to be any more, really. You know, we've got that flow between the vessels. And then we have our devil, and I really like this devil. I love the depiction here. We have our couple here that are enslaved, trapped, bound. You've got the devil's horns. And again, just like the lovers, you know, very, we can project ourselves into these images, whoever we are. Tower, I love the tower. This is one of my favourite sketches in this deck. I really like that. I like the lightning, the cracking, the falling away, and the ground below. It's a great card. Then we have our star. Beautiful star. The moon is really interesting. I like the two faces within the moon. It's almost like the moon is eclipsing the sun, so that illusion, that you know, that when night or the dark overshadows the light, and we're kind of in that space, that sort of twilight space where things might not always appear to be as we think they are. I like the two. We haven't got a crayfish here. We've got the water, we've got the two paths, we've got the two towers here. The two paths, the two creatures, the path going between the two towers. The water, we don't have the crayfish, but recognisable as the moon card. Here we have our sun card. I love this drawing of the horse. I really love that. These are actually as well nicer in having them in your hand and looking at them than seeing them across the screen. Yeah, they really are. I'm really enjoying having a look through this. Here we have our judgment card, that trumpet being sound, and then the souls rising up from the graves. An our world card, attainment. I love this figure here. And then there is an additional card. Now I believe from memory that if you have the one with the titles on, there is a question mark here. So you can use that. It's kind of like a wild card, I guess. Or maybe even if I pulled a card that had a question mark on it, it would be prompting me to rephrase my question or to explore deeper. So it's for this, it's a double-sided one because there would be one with titles on. So there we go. That is the Open Face Tarot by Robin Crutchfield, who has the channel Toadstool Tarot. I really like this, and thank you, Robin, for sending it to me. It's very easy to shuffle with it being this size. Cardstock is really good. I've really enjoyed having a look at the images, and as I say, I'm actually not that I didn't like it, but having it in my hands and looking at them close up and seeing the kind of off-white and this beautiful browns, it's not as stark as I thought it was gonna be. It's very subtle, and yeah, and whilst I don't necessarily use majors only, I think I'll keep this out. I'll pull one each day. I might even use some to go on my sacred space. I've got a little stand on my sacred space, so it might be nice to pull a card from this deck each day and display it for the day on my sacred space area. So I really like it. I'm just an overhand shuffler, so but yeah, shuffle's really nice. So thank you, Robin, for sending it to me. Do check out the information below. I'll be back later, not on this channel, but over at Amethyst Ascension at 7 p.m. So not long from now, actually. Hope you can join me there. I'm going to be put through a taste of my own medicine and being interviewed by the lovely Rochelle. So until then, guys, go in peace. Namaste and blessed be.